All right, we are back in action, guys. Welcome to the Saturday Beard Live with the 3-year beard. The crowd goes wild. Hopefully, you guys are having a great Saturday. I'm having a great Saturday too. Um, what I just did recently, about like 30 minutes ago, went to the Museum of Ice Cream in Las Vegas. I believe it's at Area 15. Went with my family, my wife, and my daughter. We had a fun time. It's actually a really cool experience. The Museum of Ice Cream was like, it was a big pink place, so you can't miss it. But aside from the big pink color that was all outside and inside of the place, it was actually a fun experience. We went to do the VIP section, so we got a free drink and everything, and all the ice cream that we can eat, and there were plenty of little rooms to kind of go into. There were like little doorways that didn't look like doors, but you open it up and it leads you to the next room, and you can find some cool secrets in there. So yeah, we had a pretty fun time at the Museum of Ice Cream at Area 15, and yeah, it was pretty fun. I got a little bit too much ice cream, so you know you know what happens when you get too much ice cream. You end up getting a little bit of a sugar rush, and my daughter definitely had plenty of that. She was running around all like willy-nilly, and my wife was also there to take videos and promote the place. So that's how we got in. And yeah, I was just there to kind of help out and be supportive and enjoy the time that we were there. So it was fun. It was fun. And if you guys are in Las Vegas, or I don't know if there's any other place where they have like a museum of ice cream, but I'm pretty sure that they do. Just checking to see if I'm live. I am live. So welcome, guys. This is the Saturday Bearded Live with the 3-year beard. And one of the things that I want to promote is these two products. One through Weatherbeard. Weatherbeard is a great product. I love their natural 100% ingredients that are specifically made for your beards. Right now, my beard is kind of, I would say, it's a little bit dry because we were outside. And I put in product. It's just unfortunately, I was outside for a little bit too long. So let me actually put some product in right now. This is a beard butter. This will soften my beard. And, you can kind of see it right now. But this is the Weatherbeard Hinoki Heights edition. Excuse me. Let me take a drink. Beard life, y'all. Beard life. I think that's what happens when you eat too much ice cream, especially one that's a lot of dairy. You get a little bit of the phlegm, but yeah, just a little dab will do you. And you put it in your hands, and then you use that. Uh-oh. That wasn't supposed to happen, but let me just secure this again. While I'm putting beard oil on, beard butter. There we go. All right, stay, 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 stay. That's not gonna work. Okay. Stay, stay. All right. Now, we put in some of that beard butter, and it's just going to soften my beard, kind of make it sort of slightly conform together. It doesn't take much. A little dab will do you, a little dollop, and yeah. Now I gotta get some of the beard butter off my hands. Yeah, I'm enjoying today. I hope you guys are enjoying your day. Your weekends are valuable and monumentous, I would say. I could have said monumental, but I wanted to say monumentous because I thought it would be interesting to say. It all means the same. But yeah, Weatherbeard beard butter is great. I like their beard oil. This is the Amber Trail. It's got that sweet woodsy smell. as well as the Hinoki Heights, which is kind of like the sweet woodsy piney smell. They all have different scent profiles, but I just love, again, Weather Beards, 100% natural ingredients made for your beards, made for your skin. There's a little bit of that beard butter on my cheek, as well as like probably a little bit of a pimple that, it's not showing much, but I definitely can feel it. Sometimes I get like deep pimples, and it's always in the same spots, right? It's like either right here or right there. There's still a little residual one that's like, still dug and burrowed in there. I think they call it cystic acne or something. I've always had that as a kid. And, aside from getting like really expensive, products, or even certain foods that I don't want to cancel out because I love my food, sometimes I like to be a little strict with my food. But so far, working as a rehab technician in a rehab hospital, you get quite active, because you're in the gym working with patients that are trying to condition and maintain a little bit more independence. So they're practicing with therapists, and I'm there to clean up and organize the gym, or work specifically at the outpatient uh, gym, basically. And yeah, I'm just constantly on the move. I'm constantly working out. So, if I didn't have such an active job, I probably would have to cancel out a few things that I normally eat right now, and that's a lot of ice cream or dairy, or sometimes sweetbreads and stuff. My job brings in a bunch of breads and candies and cookies, and including some of the patients' family members. They're also very generous enough to bring in some food for the therapists. So I get to enjoy that while I'm working out, and keeping the gym nice and tidy. But again, enough about my days. Let's get into the bearded legend of the week. Today's bearded legend is Giuseppe Garibaldi. Giuseppe Garibaldi is an obvious contender for bearded legend because he is an Italian general. He's a revolutionist and a Republican. He contributed to the unification of Italy and the creation of the Kingdom of Italy. He is considered to be one of Italy's fathers of the fatherland, quote, fathers of the fatherland, along with Camillo Benso de Cavour, King Victor Emmanuel II, and Giuseppe Mazzini. But yeah, basically, uh, why did I go? Okay, here we go. I'm supposed to go into this one page and it went into the other page. But yeah, uh, he is often called the hero of two worlds. Garibaldi earned global fame by fighting for democratic liberation movements in both South America and Europe. In his early life and South American exile, he was born in Nice. Garibaldi spent his youth as a merchant captain, and young Italy. He joined Giuseppe Mazzini's secret revolutionary society, Young Italy, to fight for unified republic. And he had a death sentence at one point in 1834 after his failed 1834 mutiny in Piedmont. He was condemned to death and fled out of the country. As well as with his guerrilla warfare experience, he spent 12 years in South America. He mastered guerrilla tactics fighting in Brazil and Uruguay. But I mean, again, people think what guerrilla? No, that's not what it is. It's basically just like an like an unrecognized, almost like a very not a unificated tactic to you know basically revolt, or have some you know uh, things that aren't really in order when it comes to revolutionary ways of getting your message across. So instead of like for instance, usually organized revolutionists would go like on the sidewalk, and then they would basically they would send their message that way. So they would like, and I don't know why I can't remember any of these like stupid words that like, suddenly I'm usually used to hearing, but for some reason I can't think of it right now. Um, Jeez Louise. Um, Basically, yeah, like you're protesting. That's what I was thinking. Protest. Come on, brain, come on. So again, in an organized protest form, you're on the sidewalk with signs and everything. Guerrilla war, tactics are completely not that. It's, unorganized, it's a little unpredictable, and you're just out there and you're sometimes doing things that are a little unlawful, but you're getting the message across in, other ways other than trying to be civil. That's what I'm pretty much trying to say. So again, let's continue on with his red shirts. His red shirts, which is basically this one, in Uruguay, he formed the Italian Legion, adopting. Let me go back to that. Adopting the iconic red shirts that became his army's trademark, um, which is pretty cool. I mean, look at this guy with his patriot, patriotic painting of the boats in the background, and he's holding the Italian flag, and he's got that debonair look. Let me see if I can't, zoom in a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Maybe a little bit less. There you go. Perfect. There he is. Standing tall and proud with the Italian flag, which again, it's not all about America. I am an American, but I do appreciate the European roots that I have been bestowed upon. I do have a little bit of Italian in me. I have a little bit of French, German, Irish, English. I got a lot of Balkan in me, like a lot of, a little bit of Viking, a little bit of Yugoslav, mostly Yugoslav, but, I'm 99% 9% European. That's basically my heritage. So it's really nice to just see a little bit of this as we're kind of discovering the greatness of Garibaldi's beard. And, we're going to go into a little bit more of the history of Garibaldi, but, he is also known for he fought for virtually all liberal causes from the 1830s to the 1860s, becoming an iconic romanticism. Garibaldi is known in Brazil due to his fight for the separatist Rio Grande do Sul, which rose up against the Imperial Regency in 1835. There, he fell in love with and married a woman named Anita, who became known as the Brazilian Joan of Arc. Wow, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that. For having fought alongside her husband. So the two of them were pretty much, match made in heaven, I guess, when it came to, fighting for the rights and fighting for justice and truth and for a republic. And again, public offices he held included dictator of Sicily, his actual title, when Garibaldi occupied Sicily with his red shirts, and Minister of War of the Roman Republic. Man, I don't know why I can't read right now. Which briefly replaced the Papal States during the revolutions of 1848. He influenced Che Guevara? I don't know who that is, but yeah, again, this is basically that famous popular meme with that other rapper, but it's Garibaldi's face on it. So the first one says, "Fight on the side of conservative, authoritarian regimes, or fight for Uruguayan, Colorado's, Rio Grandense Republic, Polish nationalists, and unification of Italy." Man, again, me and my reading, it's great and all, but man, I get tongue-tied and I just, yeah. Anyways, I can't do anything about that, but yeah. So basically, this guy is just known for his, participation in beard competitions. So Garibaldi is actually a competition part of a beard competition. So in one general category, he's got his own category. Basically that's Garibaldi is one category in a beard competition that you can either enter in, and I mean that's pretty cool because bam, he's got like that nice full beard, and he's got that nice mustache, so it's like that nice rounded Garibaldi. And let me actually look what the um, Garibaldi beard competition beard style. Okay, so basically, the description of a Garibaldi style is a wide, full beard with a natural rounded bottom and an integrated mustache, typically kept under 20 centimeters in length. Okay, it gives off a rugged, classic look and is an excellent choice of balancing out narrow and round faces. So yeah, that's basically kind of what I mean. I don't have that. I got sort of a boxy, type, like mine's kind of looking more boxy-ish as it's growing, but it's been at least 7 months, in the middle of 7.5 months almost, to achieve this beard that I have right now. But Garibaldi has his own category in beard style for all the beard competitions if you want to enter them, which I really want to enter a beard competition. That would be awesome. I don't know if I can enter in a Garibaldi style, but hey, that would be nice to enter a beard competition soon, and so that way I can show off this nice beard to the world, and maybe just the specific beard competitors who will appreciate the nice style that I have been able to grow over the last 7 months. So, anyways, that's pretty much what Garibaldi is known for, not only for his his ability to unify Italy. And let's go into the unification of Italy, or Risorgimento, which is basically in Italian. So in 1848, the revolutions, Garibaldi returned to Italy to fight Austrian forces and famously defended the short-lived Roman Republic against France. And his expedition of the Thousand, his greatest military triumph, occurred in 1860. Going from 1830s to 1860s. He invaded Sicily with only 1,000 volunteer red shirts. Remember the red shirts, guys? It's almost like the story of the 300. They didn't need much, but they invaded, Sicily with a good amount of soldiers, and they were volunteers too. That's why he was very well known for being a leader, being a general, because he was pretty much revered by many people, and there would be many volunteers to try to go for the same cause that he was going for. So that says a lot. That says a lot. It wasn't like he was forcing people to join his regime, but it was the people that volunteered to join because they knew that he was providing a good cause for Italy. And then again, conquering the South against overwhelming odds, he overthrew the Bourbon monarchy and captured Sicily and Naples. That says a lot. With only 1,000 volunteer red shirts, that's pretty impressive. Again, he's a great leader, great influential person with a beard, and he's still known to this day. Again, he's got his own beard category style for every beard competition in the world. That says a lot, guys. That really says a lot. So basically, one thing that when looking at this picture, this kind of reminds me of someone else who has a beard that I know of, that I've been influenced with throughout my years, who also influenced me to become another type of person, and that is none other than Jim Henson. For some strange, odd reason, and right now this picture doesn't really say too much, but when I start to look at Garibaldi's face and Jim Henson's face, I can't help but think that the two of them are slightly similar. And if you don't believe me, then take a look at this. Doesn't that kind of look similar? Don't the two have similar structures within their eyes, within their nose? Maybe Jim Henson smiled a lot and Garibaldi didn't. In fact, I tried to look at a Garibaldi picture of him smiling, and the only one that I could find was this picture. And I don't know if that, equates too much, but you can kind of see it in his eyes a little bit, because that eye right there goes a little bit further out, and of course Jim Henson's eyes also go further out. I mean, right there you can kind of see, hint subtly. I don't know if Garibaldi had Jim Henson's teeth, but the resemblance is very striking. I will have to say the resemblance is striking, and they do have big foreheads too. Also, that very high receding forehead line of their hair, and they also have almost similar beard structures too. If Jim Henson had grown here, well, right now here he is with his beard grown a little bit more. Whoa, that's the one thing you can't zoom in on is Jim Henson's teeth, because you can tell that he didn't really take any care of it at all. I don't even think that he had braces. Although I think looking back on it, I think he did have braces. I think his parents tried to give him braces, and I could be butchering that, but yeah. Anywho, I'm not talking about Jim Henson as a bearded legend, which, by the way, I might be hinting that eventually Jim Henson will be a bearded legend, because he is also not only a big influence on many people in the world, but he's also a big influence on his beard as well, as being a big part in many people's lives, influenced many others with his performance, with his tenacity, and his charisma. But yeah, he also, showed off a pretty good looking beard, as well as Giuseppe Garibaldi. So again, thank you, Giuseppe Garibaldi, for your contributions as a bearded legend of this week. You are always going to be remembered because your name ended up being a part of the bearded competitions indefinitely. There's always going to be a Garibaldi, pretty much a competition for a Garibaldi beard. You just you're locked in forever. You're locked in, and that's why you, Giuseppe Garibaldi, are the bearded legend of this week. So thank you again for your contributions, and yeah, you are not only a big influence in trying to shape the republic and the liberation of Goodwill people, but also your beard is just always going to be remembered. So thank you again, and that's pretty much it for the bearded legend of the week. Let's go back into this right here. So yeah, it's been fun today. So I've just been basically just trying to keep this beard nice and in shape, and I'm always washing it every day. I'm always collecting a little bit of the beard hair, which again I'm not going to sell. I'm just collecting it back here. If you want to see it, which I don't know if you want to see it at all, but this is basically what I've collected so far. My beard hair right here. I don't know why I just collected it in this underneath this Xbox controller, but hey, I don't know. I brush my beard here on this table, and then suddenly the comb catches some of the hairs, including on my shirt sometimes. And quite often I just well, what am I going to do with it? I'm not going to just put it down on the ground. I'm just going to maybe just put it right here, keep it nice and safe. And I don't know if that's a weird thing to do, but I don't know. I've just been doing that lately. So again, I'm not going to sell it. I don't want to be that weird. I'm just, I don't have anywhere else to play. I'll probably throw it away. I'll probably discard it eventually once it gets too much of a pile. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. It is what it is, guys. It is what it is. That's part of being, having a beard, is you could either clean it up for later, or you could just put it in one spot and then throw it away once it gets too much. Once it gets too much. But guys, it's fun having a beard. It's fun growing a beard, and depending on what kind of beard you want to grow, it really depends on your genetics, but it also depends on your patience, your determination, your time spent maintaining a facial hair. Again, you can grow some chops, you can grow a goatee, you can grow a nice mustache, you can grow everything all together. Some beards are a little patchy in between. Some beards are really thick and really full. Some beards are so full that you can't even get the beard oil to the skin because it's that thick. I don't know if my beard is like that. I don't think it is because I can get to my skin pretty good, but it just looks a little bushy. I got a bushy beard, and I'm proud of having a bushy beard. Just like you, if you have like a very thin beard, you should be proud of your thin beard because your genetics are going to make it look good for for yourself, for the individual that is growing that beard. That's my theory about beards is people always desire to have like some type of thing that they don't have, like, oh man, I wish I had this type of long hair. Oh man, I wish I had an afro. Oh man, I wish I had like this type of mustache. Oh man, that goatee looks awesome. Wish I was able to sport out a goatee like that. I mean, yeah, we all desire things that we don't have, but we don't usually we're usually not happy enough and content to have what we already have. And I think that's what we should practice more as humans and as people is be happy with what you have. Because if you're happy with what you have, that creates more confidence with you, that creates more stability and more determination, and you're able to walk through life with a little bit more confidence, with a little bit more poise, with a little bit more attractiveness, I would say, because that's what attractiveness is really all about is being confident in your own skin, confident in your own hair, confident in your own clothing, confident in your own presence. So you're able to walk through life with confidence and attractiveness, and no matter what you do, no matter how long you grow, no matter what length your beard gets to, as long as you got that confidence, you will prevail. You will be successful because everyone else will look at that and say, wow, I wish I had that kind of confidence. It's usually never about how thick the beard is or how long the beard is or, anything, up underneath the sun. It's usually about, wow, you carry yourself so confidently. And that's, again, going back to Giuseppe, he carried a lot of confidence. So people were following him because of his confidence, because he, believed in something more than just himself. And that's really important to kind of like grasp is it's not about like what kind of beard, how long or how big it can get. It's can you carry your confidence while you're wearing what you're wearing, while you're growing what you're growing? And of course you can. Anyone can. And that's why it's more important to carry that confidence, to build up that strength, to build that that personality trait of, poise and confidence is compared to what you're wearing on the outside. It's more about on the inside than what it is on the outside. And I think that kind of like carries over to many great people who don't have beards, who just have mustaches, who just have mutton chops. There's it's said, there's a lot to say about a person who, has different types of looks, but what really sets them apart is their confidence. So make sure to develop your confidence so that way you can be the best version of yourself. And that's pretty much all I have to say about, that. And I'm going to get going because like I'm going to enjoy the rest of my Saturday. I'm going to let you guys enjoy yours too. Thank you guys for joining in, for tuning in. There was no one in the chat, and that's just fine. If anyone wants to say hi in the chat, they can. Feel free. I'm an open book. I'm an open guy. I'm very friendly. And yeah. But again, until the next time, I will see you tomorrow for another short, and I will also see you next Saturday with another Bearded Live, including another Bearded Legend. And until then, I hope you guys have a good day, a good weekend, and I will see you next time. Take care, and as of course, beard the course.